The alligators are babies. Last year when they was a little baby, now they're a baby.
That's not a real
You know what Jaden did? What? He's like, I've been here before. He told me he had been here, but he was trying to stay at home.
Yo!
Hello. Hello.
Look at his teeth. You see his teeth sticking out? You see his teeth over there? आपके साथ तो मतलब परीक्षा तुम बोले कमला
You want this one?
Okay, go where your dad is.
Oh yeah, yeah. On the board now.
We're going to see the feeding at 12. And then we move it. I think they talked about that.
They probably did.
I wonder if they just kind of know, hey, we're about to get fed.
Good morning. My name is Lydia. I'm one of the reptile keepers here. But before we start, just a couple quick safety reminders to keep in mind. If you have any personal belongings today, cameras, hats, phones, cups, keys, your children, we're just going to ask that you're not leaning any of those things over the edge of the railing or resting them on these wooden ledges or looking about. I'm sure some of you have already realized some of these alligators are quite large. But as big as they are still nowhere near the size of one of their ancient ancestors called Deinosuchus. Now, Deinosuchus roamed the earth about 80 million years ago, and just to paint a picture for you all, he measured around 40 feet long and weighed about 20,000 pounds. So that would be like if you took 4 of these American alligators and put them one right after the other, head to tail, tacked on a whole bunch of weight. That is basically what you would be seeing all the way back then. But even though Deinosuchus was around as long ago as he still technically was not considered a dinosaur. Deinosuchus was what was eating the dinosaurs, and with the name that translates to mean terrible crocodile, I think that fact makes a lot of sense. But looking at these American alligators here today, even though they still retain this very ancient-looking appearance, don't mistake this for a lack of intelligence. These are very intelligent animals, and they even have a part of the brain called a true cerebral cortex. And just because you might be okay with a 13-foot alligator following you around all day, it does not necessarily mean that the next person that comes along will be okay with that. And they could end up having what we call in this industry a very bad day. It is not recommended. But looking around right now, we have quite a few of our alligators lounging about, relaxing on land, soaking in that heat from the sun. And even though what they're doing is a very normal alligator behavior, a lot of the times our guests will see this, and their first initial instinct is to point and say, look at that lazy zoo animal, he's not doing anything at all. And that's a very common misconception. They're not being lazy animals, they're actually actively participating in an activity that's essential for their daily health. These are reptiles, and they're also considered ectotherms, or cold-blooded animals. So that means they can't self-regulate their own internal body temperatures by themselves. They're hiding underneath that top layer of skin that sits on top of a bunch of blood vessels. So when this dark coloration of their skin soaks in that heat from the sun, it's going to warm up those pieces of bone underneath, which warm up the blood in the vessels that carry it all over their bodies. And it's usually only after that happens that you're much more likely to see a little bit more energy and activity from them. But speaking of active alligators, I want to see a show of hands. How many So a fun game you can always play if you have the time is, let's take a look at our education area right on the other side of this bridge here. We have about 5 different species, excuse me, alligators and crocodiles. And so you can kind of just start posing yourself on what type of animal that you're looking at, just based on that stroke shape alone. But this whole time we have been focusing on the American alligator, and that makes sense with quite a few of them here. But there are technically 2 species of alligator in the world. The other kind is called a Chinese alligator, and there are some differences between them. The first is the most obvious location, so China versus North America. American alligators can get, but the Chinese alligators on average, even in adulthood, are only around 5.
Sino llegó?
எவ்வளோ வச்சிருக்காங்க இங்கே போய் கீழே போய் ரைட்டு
பாருங்க வாயை திறந்துட்டு
It's not pretty.
I think we have to put a dollar in it.
One second. What's the best? Hello. I want to put zip line.
Where? Oh, here?
Just over 30 years old and more than 50. On October 24th, Maxwell Sydney arrived to St. Augustine Alligator Zoological Park.
Mama, look at the alligator.
He was just very depressed. So that's all we were worried about at first, leaving him alone. I think there's a definite difference when you have
Those guys
definitely.
Wow, that is so cool.
Attitude different.
This one is
I'm
straight.
certain that it's positive.
See them in all their glory.
Yeah, that's a skeleton. That's the one that's
School children came in droves to see them.
When it was time to feed them, a couple times a day, and make announcements over the new anchors, donors of clothing, and sometimes he would already try to clothe back and forth.
And even like the side doors,